Everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Everybody read the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 16th special meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion on that? All right. All right, we have transfer requests. All right, one is from the Conservation Commission to move $33.28 from the Summerfest Farm Day to miscellaneous. Want to just read them all? You all?
Sure.
You don't care? Family Services, the SDE grant. They want to move $5,496 from the grant award to the family therapy line item. And then Family Services for the DEMIS grant. They want to move it from the DEMIS grant to the individual therapy in the amount of $1,028. Everybody have a chance to read the transfers?
Yep. I'll make a motion to accept the transfers.
Yeah, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we have appointments.
Will we read them?
You may, John.
All right. Service District Commission, Lita Miller, Stephen Castanucci, Scott Finch, 2-year terms to expire 2/12/2020. Stafford Housing Authority, Leonard Champagne, 5-year term to expire 1/31/2023. Recreation Commission, William Unimark, 5-year term to expire 10/15/2022. I guess that would be a motion to, my reading would be a motion, I guess.
Sure, if that's it, I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're into public comment period. Anybody have a public comment? Dave?
I just wanted to make one brief comment. I read in the paper in the last week or two about the vandalism in the town, including graffiti and racist remarks and so forth, symbols. And I studied this for 25 years, taught at New York State University, and I'm glad that the police took action and they seriously went after these people. We got calls from my son's house if we would, share our cameras, the security cameras, because he's in that general area. He said yes, we would, but they'd already identified the person before they needed it for the people. But these are very serious things, and what a lot of people don't understand is that young people are watching this all the time. And where this is dismissed as not being much, or a small item, young kids may think it's okay to do that, they can be the next. I remember about 5 years, well maybe it was 6 or 7 years ago actually, but at the high school they had an incident where someone went around the campus with a Confederate flag. And so the school wanted to put together some kind of a program about tolerance and respect and so forth. So the then principal asked me if I would do it. We brought together a really good group of people. But it was amazing how many of the kids didn't even know what this flag stood for. They thought it was for NASCAR racing, and that's the only time they'd ever seen it and so forth. So it's important to make strong statements against that kind of thing. And for those people who think it's funny or it's superficial, I always used to start all my talks at the university with just one lesson, and I'll stop with here. If from 1900 to 1999, 215 million people, not one soldier, civilians, died as a result of group hatred, discrimination, anti-Semitism, violence of that type. If you laid those people head to foot, they they would stretch from Washington DC to Honolulu, Hawaii, and back again 25 times. And that's assuming a height of, I think, 5 feet 3 inches and a half, because most of the people who died were women and children. But if you stop and think about that, that's the unbelievable statistics that most people have no idea about. So I'm glad the police went after them. I think the stronger statements, you know, anyone can make who's in a position of power and Stafford, the better off they'll all be. Thank you.
That's it? All right. So the Citizens Advisory Committee update?
Yeah. I'm the chairman of the Citizens Advisory Committee. This committee created just about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. We have a group that what we do is solicit ideas from the public in any way possible to things to better the town, things to move the town forward, just ideas, what people would like to see happen here. And we first just started meeting as a group, just kind of came up with ideas on our own, and then one of our members made a suggestion box, which we thought was a great idea, and we put the suggestion box in different areas. We started it off here at the town hall. It's been at Middle Ground, it's been at Mill Pond, it's been at Dixon's Laundromat, Bonnie Jean's, and now currently sitting back at the town hall during tax season, figuring there'd be a lot of traffic going by to put for people to put in suggestions. So what I wanted to give to the board was a log that one of our members created, that we kind of track the items that came in either through email or through the suggestion box. And we're just kind of trying to update things as as we work on them. Some of the things we did address, crosswalk signage for safety reasons in different areas. We brought it to Rick Zulik's attention, and Donna did a great job with pictures and kind of areas where she felt there was some security issues, and Rick took care of most all of those. I think, Donna, are they all done now? Did we get all the signage done, or was there still one?
Church Street, I'm not sure if that crosswalk is one.
Okay, so we may still, we'll have to revisit and make sure that, all the places that we mentioned, we got the signage that we wanted, but Rick did a good job there. We also talked about Main Street lighting, and Rick has said that there will be LED lights put in on Main Street, so lighting should get much better. We were hoping that was gonna happen last fall, but it seems that it hasn't quite happened yet, and we're kind of at the mercy of Eversource, I think. But our big ticket item is what we've been trying to achieve now for a while, is a river walk down at the Hyde Park. There were several suggestions in the suggestion box and via email that they'd like a nice little river walk down at the Hyde Park area. So we brought that to the Hyde Park Commission. We are anxiously awaiting approval to move forward. The meeting was supposed to happen tomorrow night, but it got pushed till next week. But again, we've just got some fantastic members on this group. Donna and Donald are here tonight, but Donna put together this information that I'll also share with the board, that kind of talks about trails and what neighboring towns have done with their walks and trails and stuff, and we presented that to the Hyde Park Commission as kind of fuel to keep things moving in a forward way. So provided we get approval from the Hyde Park Commission, we're actually gotten, the Lions Club said that they would be willing to donate money to get us started on the Riverwalk.
Do you have disapproval on it? Like, what would be the disapproval?
We don't have anybody that said no yet.
Oh, okay.
Officially. They did not vote. They took it under advisement. They wanted to walk the area that we talked about and get a look for themselves on what we wanted to do. And they said they would come back in their next meeting, which was going to be tomorrow. And again, it got pushed till next week. But they seem favorable for the most part. So there was some current concerns about liability, and I think we addressed all those issues, and there was concerns about you know, we plan on raising the money ourselves, we plan on going soliciting businesses to, you know, to help fund this, so we're not gonna ask the town to purchase anything, we're going to ask the town to use their workers for some of the work, and provided we get approval to do that, that'll help things, move things forward also.
And would it be just open, it wouldn't be maintained in the winter?
No.
Okay.
No, our expectation, and here, the neighboring towns will also have these walks.
Yeah, the
They
one down by
don't
the
clear them,
highway.
yeah,
That's
they
a
don't
great
clear them
one.
in the wintertime.
Okay.
You know, and we wouldn't expect the town to clear them in the wintertime either, it's, you know, it'd be a big added burden during, you know, times when they don't really have the time to do that, so. You know, our thought would be if there is snow, then it would be a good spot for snowshoeing, or maybe cross-country skiing if it, you know, works out, or whatever. But, you know, we wouldn't expect the town to do that. And the only maintenance, from what I've talked to Rick about, would really be maintenance you're already doing. The mowing would still have to happen, and you know, they might have to weed whack in certain areas.
What would the
but-
path be? Do you have that, have you gone down to doing that yet?
Yes, we've, and I don't have that with me right now, but we had a map of the entire Hyde Park, and it runs, you enter at the monument in Hyde Park
Okay.
and start along the fence, and it goes all the way along the fence, behind the dugouts, behind the food booth that the softball team has, all the way down the fence, past the tennis court / skate park, almost all the way to the road that leads, Park Street Road there that goes over the bridge there,
Oh.
not quite that far. Then it turns to the left and it goes up the hill, crosses over, there's a little area that the pond from middle school kind of releases its overflow. We'd have to get a little bridge built to walk over that little
Good.
spillway or whatever. Yeah, project that we were hoping that maybe a Boy Scout
An Eagle
would
Scout.
undertake for an Eagle Scout project or something. And then it stays between the band shell and the stone wall, so you're above the stone wall and, you know, between the band shell, and it goes along all the way to the road, and then it ends. So you either take the road down back to where you started, or you turn around and you walk back.
That's great to connect from where the monument all the
Right.
way to where the band shell is.
Yep,
And to
so,
bring maybe more things to the park. What would the walkway, and I'm sorry if I'm getting ahead.
nope,
What would the walkway be made out of?
well, it'd
Is
be
it
like
just grass, or
it's
is
like
it
a
crushed-
crushed stone,
Okay.
and there's a picture, if you look on, maybe
Would it be the
fourth-
same one as the
fourth-
one in Wellington by the
It's a
highway?
lot like that, and that's what our expectation would be, it's like a hard crushed stone,
Okay.
where you could, you know, if it, handicap accessible, so you could push a wheelchair, or you could push a stroller without, too
There we go.
much intervention there. So, and I think it would end up being close to the same distance as what's down at Wellington, right? Because we're talking about
Third
a
of a mile.
quarter-mile, yeah, roughly. So, you know, and eventually maybe it grows into more, maybe we tie some other parts of Stafford into that. This is the first stage that we'd like to get done, and, you know, I think it'd be enjoyable for people down,
Yeah.
to go down and walk it. I know there was some concerns with foul balls from the softball field, or balls getting hit, and I don't, you know, my opinion on that is it doesn't change the way it is today. People do walk down
Right.
through there, so foul balls could still hit in there, and, you know, it just makes it a little more structured area, so.
It's nice if somebody wants to go, we've all been there
Yep.
with our kids, somebody's playing, take them for a walk in a stroller or somebody, that's great.
So, and as we get more items, we will, what's that?
I was wondering if Donna had anything.
Oh, yeah,
to add to
Donna,
that.
No, I think originally the plan, and Al D'Amico was the one who really brainstormed it with the group, because he felt that the trail should really begin up near Warren Woolen Mill, where
Right.
the store is, and come down through on the sidewalk, and come across by the flagpole, come in front of the town hall, and then proceed down Main Street, past the ice cream depot, across Spring Street Bridge, and then into the park.
Sure.
So really, in the long run, I think we all envisioned that we would expand on it, like John said,
yeah,
but that the park was central to what people had submitted as an idea. more than one person requested a walk in Hyde Park,
Right.
so that's the idea we embraced to begin with.
Mhm.
Yeah, and as a chairman, I can't take much credit. These guys did, Donna did a ton of research, Donald did a lot of work, and Hal, of course, it was his idea to start with, so, I'm just kind of the voice of it, so I have a great group to work with.
Seems like a plus, really.
Yeah, win-win as far as I'm concerned.
So where is it now? Like, where do you stand? You're waiting for them, you're gonna have your meeting, and will you get an answer for that meeting?
We were told, yes, we would have an answer one way or the other
Right.
at the next meeting.
And you'll come back and give us an update?
Well, we'll give you an update, yep,
Okay.
but we won't, I don't believe we need any other approvals. Once we get Hyde Park Commission approval, I think we can, start trying to raise money and get people that are gonna help us, create the walk, so. No disrespect to the Board of Selectmen, but we're not gonna ask you for more permission.
I just have one question. So you're gonna use town labor?
We
So
hope
that's
to.
Worked into, whatever schedule they have regarding personnel? Because I know there's been some movement in the parks and DPW numbers.
Okay.
I think they're down a couple. We had budgeted for another half person. Now we're down two and a half, let's say, because that one wasn't filled. So I was only concerned a little bit about the scheduling wise when those folks, Henrik Zulik made a specific case for years about adding a body, and now we're going backwards. And I understand budget concerns, but I would only be curious what the impact would be for them to do this. If we needed bodies to do our regular everyday upkeep stuff, terrific idea, I think, absolutely. I'd be a little concerned though with how it's gonna work in.
Yeah, I mean, he has to prioritize the work. If he,
Right.
if he doesn't have anybody to work on it a certain day, then I guess we would have to be on the waiting list, I mean, we wouldn't
Fair enough.
expect, we're not expecting them to drop everything just to
Sure,
work on this.
no,
you know.
absolutely, no, great idea.
Fit it in, if summer help can help, whatever, whatever we can,
Yeah, no,
whatever we
absolutely.
can muster up to get it done.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
great
that's what
idea.
we're
If it
aiming
can
for.
be working,
Yeah.
if it can work, it'd be very good.
And who knows, maybe we get volunteers from outside that would be willing to help us out too.
There you go.
A lot of good people in this town.
Absolutely. Good. Great update. All right, number 7, the electric car logs. All right. I know the two of you, I will start, but the two of you were on the board before I came in.
Yeah, this is.
I was at a lot of meetings about it.
To be honest, this is my baby. I mean, I've been pushing for this, and maybe I painted it originally wrong, like it was more than not trusting our employees, but, as I think about it, keeping good track of how the electric cars are used is good auditing. It's, good for accountability. And I know I asked several times during the last couple of years that we introduce some manual logs. I know we have a sign-up sheet in the office. That's all well and great, but there's nothing that really tracks how many miles are used for each department, each time it goes out. It's just a sign-up and people take it and they're
And it's
out
not
and they
just
come back.
employees, there's people on
Right,
commissions,
right,
there's
so,
people on-
yeah, so, I mean, my thought is, these logs, and hopefully people will take them serious enough to fill them out, it literally will take you 1 minute to put your name, the date, the time you're leaving, your mileage out, and what you're doing. And then
Were
when you
those
come in-
done after the state ones? Because every state vehicle you get in.
Yeah, this is not as detailed as the state. I did put the department name. It would be nice to know, if, the assessor's department uses it for, I don't know, for 10,000 miles a year. Maybe they need their own electric car, maybe they need their own vehicle. Maybe it determined that there is a group that needs to have a dedicated vehicle. And maybe not. Maybe all it does is tell us who used it and when, and, so be it.
Well, if there's ever an issue,
Right.
that's why the state does it. If somebody's speeding, and somebody calls and says at such and such a time,
Right.
somebody's, I just passed the electric car, and then we can look and see who it was, if there's any damage to it. To me, it only makes sense, because it's from the state too.
Right. And again, I don't want to paint this as being, a non-trusting thing. I mean, for
Doesn't
audit
have
purposes
anything to do
too,
with
you know,
cost,
maybe we
really.
wanna audit what the usage is. And, you know, by department, by group, by person, by whatever. But so, and I'm anal about these kind of things, I like to keep track of these things.
So I got a question.
Sure.
Because the electric car logs were implemented a couple of months before Mary took over. Beth was in control of that. The mileage in, mileage out, exactly what you're purporting to ask for, was done every single time the car was taken. So either you stop using that, Beth, or,
No, we're still doing it.
oh, you still do?
Oh, you do have
So
that.
so in fact, you do have a mileage log that John's talking about.
Was there mileage on that?
The orange
Yeah,
pad?
the only one who isn't giving me mileage because he uses it every day is Alan.
So we have a process.
So maybe.
So you're just gonna change the process a little bit to,
Well, it'd be both manual and maybe,
I don't think it's a problem having it also in our office, so
That's
that
where
we
it
have
is.
a list of who has it out at any certain time, but those should absolutely be in the car.
but that is the process. There is a process. In
Mhm.
fact, exactly what John's described was in play and
Do you
still
want
being,
it? Here, let me
still
let you
being
look
worked.
at what
So
he's
I'm just curious with the added difference now with the folder, when you have to already use those logs exactly how you're describing. So
I
I'm
guess I haven't
curious.
seen a copy of what it actually looks like.
Which I need somewhere.
Right, so I guess we're lack of communication, I guess, as well.
I don't think it's a lack of communication. John has pushed for it in a couple of years, and I know there is something up there, but these are.
Right, there's a process already, so I'm misunderstanding how either John maybe didn't know, I assume you did, it's in your office,
Mhm.
so. Yes, you're aware that there is a process?
Absolutely.
So this
This-
is then the same process, but in a blue binder? I'm just asking, what's the difference?
Really? These should be in a car. You should have some kind of log in the car. I don't see any kind of a problem having a sign-up sheet or a sign-in sheet in our office so that Beth knows who has that vehicle
Right.
at all times. So maybe we just change what's in our office and just have them put down their name, I wanted to take it a step further. Do we ask for people's licenses and, right. So, I mean, that's actually very important. But I see no problem with having this in the vehicle and having something in our office that's a sign-up sheet, so that you know at any given time, if you get a phone call and this is in that vehicle, you know who has that vehicle.
Right, that's what she
Period.
has in the office, is the mileage in, mileage out, exactly what this purports to ask for. So it already exists, I'm only curious, the small change you're gonna make here, that's all.
That's
Because
okay.
it's in the office where you have to sign out the keys.
Mhm.
So she has the mileage in, mileage out. So this is exactly what John wants, great idea, right? We already have it, so I'm just curious what the extra binder in the car you need for, if you already have to give it to Beth, which is where the control is of the cars, is your office.
Absolutely.
What am I missing? I'm just curious.
Probably nothing, but I think they should be in the car. Maybe it's redundant,
Yeah, that's a word, yeah.
either word. So I would like them in the car.
So,
I'm good with that.
I'm just gotta clarify, so you gotta fill out the one in the car,
Yep.
additionally fill out the one for Beth?
Nope, I just said, we can fill these out in the car, we'll change the one that's in the office to just have people give you their name, they have to show a license and all of that, and this goes in the car and they have to fill this out, this stays in the car.
So I guess then my question is, somebody returns the car, hypothetically, but didn't fill it out. My assumption is Beth's not gonna run down there and check the book,
You're right,
but when she was in her office and you had to return it to her with the in and out, she knew exactly that you filled out the mileage in and out. So we're missing a piece of the chain here, because if they don't fill this out, Beth is unaware, you're unaware, so you're losing the control of what John wants as a control for the usage of the car. So this step doesn't make the same sense John's trying
Well,
to
I
explain.
personally wasn't aware that the mileage was.
No, and I understand that.
was tracked,
Yeah, but
so
we put it in place, Beth is well aware, she controlled it, so
anywhere where we
exactly
can
what you're
pull a
looking
report
for.
is
Absolutely.
good by me.
Well, I would
with that.
suggest it's in the
I mean-
office, because then you have to prove that you put a mileage in and out, which is what you have to do now. Here, again, inadvertently, somebody forgets, they go home, oh, we forgot, now we got 2 other people use it, oh shoot, we lost all that mileage in and out.
So there are zero
point.
gaps in the,
Right.
in Beth's log, there's 0 gaps.
Right, but you have to fill out that little sheet.
Yeah, if you wanted to pull a log per se, I'm not sure, through Outlook, you can really do that. I don't know how you would print that out as a log, where that would be, like, you can just look at it and see, but,
Right.
I mean, I can take those and,
I think this ought to be,
Sure,
my opinion is, this ought to be in your office, I guess if it's a
We could always
one-page
discuss
sheet,
that.
then you could scan. Right, because that's what you want, John, is you want to have the in and out for sure,
That's exactly what I
verified.
want.
Right, so then it's a nice handy dandy binder, instead of the little process, but it's all in the office, which makes the most amount of sense. Unless you somehow can explain to me how in the car you're not gonna miss detention.
Well, I'd like
True.
to, I mean, before we
Make a decision.
make a
whether we
decision,
wanna
I'll
do it or
see
not.
what Beth's looks
Mhm.
like, the report that's
I don't know that you
generated.
can pull a report, you can go in and look at each day, but I don't know if you can pull the report on that.
And when people
I
come,
haven't tried.
and when people come back, they tell you the mileage exactly and you put it in? Good.
Yeah, it's a great idea,
Yeah, I
we
do.
pretty much
Yeah.
got it, I think if it's in the car though, you're gonna miss potential people forgetting.
And maybe what we can do is go back and find out how it's
Yeah.
handled,
I just-
unless, go ahead, I'm sorry. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean to
I'm
speak
just,
for you.
I'd be very curious to see that the, there's no gaps or anything then.
Yeah, everybody have to grab a sheet, fill it out, in and out, no matter what,
Mhm.
as a prerequisite.
Well,
Why don't we check that
we'll
out
look it
and
up
I'll
and
look
then
that
There you
we'll
go.
come back
You
next
guys-
meeting with
Yeah,
These
once you
are
figure it
very
out.
nice.
Terrific, great
I like
idea.
it in there.
the, fair enough.
Very good. John, throw that there.
Yep.
All right, so now we have the award contract for the grant writing for small cities. We are applying for small cities program grant for 2018. And we put that up to bid, and we had one company that put their bid in, and it's the same company that we've had it forever to do it. I've been to the mandatory training sessions, 2 of them, and we really hope that we get it this year. We haven't had it for a couple of years, so we really want to push for it. So anyway, I'm asking for a motion just to accept the contract.
Usually the only folks that apply, I
Yes.
guess, huh?
Is that what happens, that's happened when it's,
Most of the time.
yeah,
Sometimes
only
we
one
get another
company.
person.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'd make a motion to accept it.
I have a question before before I finish
Of
the
course.
second. Was it the, and Beth, I guess, because you've been around the longest, the same price that has been quoted before, has it gone up? Same deal? Okay, great. John, you made a motion?
Yep.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it?
Nope.
Want to vote?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good, all passes. Old business? No, new business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, great.